another interview on the She's Connected SA channel, and today we are talking about a very interesting topic, shamanic healing with Tass Schwab. Tass, hi.
Hi, beautiful to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, I'm so excited about this. I've got such a big love for shamans and the work that they're doing, and I know that maybe in South Africa the topic, or even the word alone, is a bit fearful for people. But let's talk about you before we go into the shamanic healing. Tass, who are you? Where are you? And how did you get onto this path?
It's beautiful to be here. Thank you very much. Yeah, just a word about the word shaman. Some people tear their hair out and froth about it because it's actually, the word comes from the Tungis tribe in Siberia. But in the Western world, it's kind of taken on a meaning which medicine people, medicine women like me, decide to actually use the word. And some people are going to tear their hair out, but that's the word I use. I'm a shamanic practitioner. And I live in the beautiful little town of Scarborough in the Western Cape. And wow, Peter, I've been doing this all my life. And I can't say, it's only the past couple of years, the last 5 years, that I've really turned myself as a shaman, but I've been doing the work. So there's lots of people out there that are doing the work and might not label it as shaman. So medicine woman is probably a gentler term to use. I'm not a Sangoma. I haven't undergone that kind of training. And perhaps a teacher will come along one day. I don't know. Yes. Because this is a lifelong journey.
Yeah. Yes, it's beautiful. I've actually met medicine people from the States. I've met a medicine man from the States, somebody who I had grown to love very much. And I also know a Sangoma. I met a Sangoma a while back, and the path comes in many ways. Would you say it was a calling for you? Would you say that you had this deep yearning and calling that spoke to your heart when you chose to follow this path?
It wasn't even a calling, it was a knowing.
Oh, beautiful.
Ever since a little child, I was a little bit off-key, off-center, different from other children, because I could see energy and I could actually see the chakras and what the chakras were doing on people and what the different colored spinnings were doing. I was able to see other beings. And I've always had a deep, deep love of Mother Earth. Wow. And that's what drives me. What really drives me is knowing that I am completely at one beautiful blue spaceship that we're spinning on through the universe. So you can call it a calling. If I don't do this, I will bust.
Yeah.
Really. If I don't do this, if I don't write about this, if I don't practice this, something in me is going to die.
Yeah.
Something in me will not have lived fully. So here I am. Yeah.
Tass, were you beautiful? Thank you for mentioning the word knowing, because so many of us, we're so confused about what it is that we know, and sometimes we're not aware of what we know. You're not even aware of your own knowing, and then obviously there's trauma and there's things that happen in your life and a lot of judgments and opinions, and that shapes you as a child. Was it easy for you as a child being different?
No, it wasn't. The thing is about having a calling like this, it's very particular.
Yeah.
My calling, although it will exist in the structure of shamanism, where I use various tools such as the rattle and the drum, which I'm presuming we'll talk about a bit later, I did find it difficult, and luckily I had parents that were fairly supportive still. little bit weird, yeah. My sister's also a medicine woman.
Yeah.
So fortunately, she was 10 years ahead of me, so they were already used to weird.
Yeah, amazing.
But generally, you will find people who have a particular strong calling, like I do, and all the other medicine people. You will find that we're actually naturally solitary, because by human standards. Because the thing is, I'm connected to the mother all the time, or I try and be. You know, so I'm connected to this magnificent being that is there all the time for me to tap into other knowledge that the cloud people could be telling me, that the energy from a stone person could be telling me, because from my shamanic perspective, everything is sentient. Even my pen is sentient. Everything is sentient. Everything is life. So it's a reverence of life. So I'm not lonely, which is wonderful.
Yeah. Yes, there's that. There's 3 words come to mind: longing, lonely, and alone. You know, we get confused between those words. And beautifully said about honoring the earth and being part of the earth and experiencing the earth in a way that you do, because I think a lot of people are so disconnected from themselves and disconnected, not very grounded to Mother Earth. And that, I think, is where the practice of sangomas and shamans and medicine people come in, and where it's so absolutely necessary for people that do the work that you do on this planet to really be, you know, engage and be shared with other people, because I just think it's important. Point, clap, boom, you know.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It is. Shamanism hasn't just got the individual that we work with and heal, and I don't think we can cure people. We can certainly heal them. But it's also a community thing, one-on-one thing. It's a community thing. That's why we use, from my perspective, pipe to sanity.
Yeah.
And do workshops, for instance. I also do a lot of workshops too.
Yeah, it's being part of the collective. You know, that's the message, is being that we're all part of the collective. It's not just one individual, that your suffering is my suffering is your suffering. And how can we, and I've mentioned this before in talks, how can we create a safe space as facilitators and healers on this planet, where we can hold that space for you to become the healer of your own life. You know, like I have to share this with you. It's like, I believe that you know, facilitators and healers and practitioners, you know, that we don't heal other people, but that they heal themselves by us allowing a space for them, through not judging them, through loving them, through having compassion for their experiences and for what they are experiencing. And in that process, you know, people can actually come forward and they can say, oh, this is what I know, and this is how I can heal my life and how I can be here. Would you agree?
Yes, it's in Cape Town, we're very fortunate that we do have a lot of spaces that can be held, and for us to be able to step into our workshop spaces and our healing spaces, and that there is a sufficient enough community to be able to so that holding space is to create space. For instance, before I came online, I blessed my laptop. I smudged it, you know, so that this space, the sacred space that we've entered into here, the sacred space. And I also, before tapping into you, called in the directions just to set this as sacred space. Disappeared.
You know, it's sacred space is what Tass is speaking about, and it's so beautiful that you are mentioning that. 2 days ago, I was questioning, that word sacred space. Is it out there? Is it in here? Is it only on that one spot? And a while back, like for as long as I could remember, I was always running away from my place of birth. I didn't like the town that I was born in. I always wanted to get away from people and get away from that town. To one day, I stood and I thought, well, I am sacred. I have the divine within me. I am divine awareness manifested. And therefore, everything else around me is divine awareness manifested. And I went back to that town and I just saw it as divine. So when you come from a place of working with divinity and again, the heart space, which everybody is talking about, you really see everything as a sacred space, everyone as a sacred being, everything as being sacred, everywhere, this planet here and beyond as sacred and beautiful and divine. Yes.
This is very true. Thank you. Thank you. You did it well.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we have to clean our homes and we have to cleanse our bodies, and you have to go through that ritual because that ritual is... I've lost you, Taz. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So we seem to have some technical issues with Taz. We'll just wait a little bit until she comes back on.
Okay.
Are you back on? Oh, fantastic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. You can talk.
I think so. I think I'm here.
Yes,
Great.
you are.
A bit of a brief. I think it's important for you to find your own practice every day with regards to dropping into sacred space. And all of us are different. I'm fortunate that I live here in Scarborough, which is just fabulously beautiful and close to nature. I really drop into it. And thank you for the words that you said. The entire sacred. I'm a temple. You are a temple. Our planet is a temple. And if we can go into our days with that kind of peace of knowing that we're temple space and everybody else is temple space, and we start seeing the divine in everybody else, a completely different world will ensue.
Yeah.
A completely different world will ensue. And also, even with people and that grab you angry or make you want to cut in front of somebody in the traffic, just pause, just slow down and realize that that being is sacred as well, and they have stuff that's happening. And if we all can look at each other and say, you've got stuff happening in you, that's why you're grumpy today. I love you.
Yes, and it's okay, it's everything's okay. Just have your stuff, we still love and accept you. Yes.
Yeah, yes. Shamanic practice. So if I can just look at the tools that we use and how we... most shamans or medicine women, whether you've probably experienced this as well, because you know a couple of people around the world, whether you're from North America, whether you're from South America, or even a proper Siberian Saman, which incidentally the word Saman means to know, which is really nice to know, is that we would all be using a drum or getting ourselves into altered states. Almost all of the shamans in the world operate on knowing that there is a middle world, which is here, what we're seeing around us. There's an upper world, and there's also a lower world. The upper world is where we will access our angelic higher selves. And the lower perspective, for instance, is the underworld where we will go and we'll journey with you as a shaman. We'll either do soul retrieval with you, or we'll journey with you by using our drums. And of course, we use rattles and feathers and other to us. In our practice, I'm standing in the middle of a crowd, so I haven't got my rattle and my drum and my bunch of feathers with me that I use. I must be able to draw on that energy, that the tool, it doesn't matter where I am. I am the medicine shaman. I can grab my rattle and I can shake the energy so that it can dissipate if it's agitated, for instance.
Yeah, thank you for starting to talk about that intuitively, because that's exactly what I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask a general sort of experience, of when you are busy with a session with people or in a group. So thank you for that, Tass.
Yeah.
It just shows you how interconnected people are. Yes, Tass,
yeah, today I would have...
Oh, no, say.
If for instance, if you walked through my door for a session, I would smudge you first to clear you. I'd smudge you with some cedar and some sage with my feathers, and just to cleanse and clear your aura. And then we'd step into a session, which of course varies from person to person.
Yeah. I have to share something with that. We forget wherever we go, whatever we do, whatever we touch, whatever we eat, wherever we walk, it's energy. There is an energy there that you pick up and that you bring home. And I believe in that ritual. I believe in that ritual of cleansing and purging and getting rid of that energy, which you've unknowingly or knowingly picked up, unwantingly or wantingly have, brought with you to where you are. And I would say to people, especially in your homes, do the cleansing ritual. Cleanse your bathrooms if other people are using it. Cleanse, and I'm not talking about cleaning. Yes, you have to clean physically to get dirt away, but there's an energy that people bring into your house that you need to be aware of. Clear that out of your house, clear that out of your kids' bedrooms, clear that out of your rooms, clear it out of the kitchens, clear it out of your gardens, and own that space and make it yours. Would you agree to that, Tass?
People who know me will know that I kind of am hard on semantics, and I would prefer to say that mute the energy instead of getting rid of the energy.
Would you?
Energy will continue. Energy will continue to exist wherever you go. So when I'm working with you or when I'm cleansing my house, I'm gently asking the energy to transform itself. And even when I work on people, I'm not getting, Can I carry on?
Yes.
Working on people, I'm not banishing it and holding up garlic and crosses and all sorts of, gently asking the entity, please, because this person is suffering because of what you're doing inside them. And it's a gentle conversation instead of wild movies where we see people being exorcised. Generally, a much more gentle process to move energy. So you're just moving it, making it something else.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for reminding me of that. Perhaps my choice of words weren't exactly the best choice. It is all about transforming and changing the energy, which we know through science as well. You can do it. that's the only thing that you really can do with energy. So, and then for everybody else who's missed what Tass was saying online, because we had a bit of a breakup, it's different to when there is an energy within you that you feel isn't yours. And when you go into shamanic, because I know that you mentioned exorcism, but when you go into shamanic practices, you know, so often, and if you really understand the way the world works and the spirits that walk the earth, that is quite a different subject and quite an interesting subject. If ever you want to speak to Tass about that, if you maybe feel that you have someone or a being around you trying to communicate with you. Would that be something that you would be doing and looking at, Tass, is communicating? Yeah.
No, that is not something that I do.
Is that
you have people that are able to communicate with the spirits or dead past loved ones, etc. That I don't do.
Okay.
What I do is, if there's an entity, whether it's a past lover, a parent that is there around you and hasn't moved on, I can assist that energy to move on. Because the thing is, we unknowingly pick things up, and I can see that you're somebody that knows about this stuff, so it's really a pleasure talking to you about it. Thank you. Often, many of us are empaths. An empathetic person picks up other energies, and you know, we don't know that we've got all these people in inverted commas hanging around us all the time. Or we might have been ill, or we might have taken a substance, we might have had too much to drink, whatever. Then an entity sees an opportunity to say, oh, that's a cozy place to go, and you might have taken this on and you're unaware of it.
Yeah.
I kind of try and communicate to whoever it is, see who it is, or what it is, to a coaxing session. And sometimes they also don't want to leave.
No, they don't.
So that takes a different tack.
Yeah. No, the world of spirit, I think, is very interesting and very scary to most people. My grandmother, for instance, you know, she had a gift that she's let go of. She doesn't want to know. She could see before somebody was going to pass away, pass on to the next world. And it scared her. She was a very religious person. She's very, you know, she doesn't believe that we as human beings should be able to communicate with spirits like that. So there's a lot of viewpoints about connecting with spirit world, not connecting with spirit world, being able to see spirit world, being able to not see spirit world, speaking, not speaking, and then redirecting and guiding, you know. And what I would like to invite people to, I think, Tass, maybe you'll agree, is just open up to the possibility again that everything is divine, everything is divinity, you know. Don't perceive things to be evil when you don't have enough knowledge on it. You know, see how that particular experience or whatever it is that you're sitting with at the moment, see and go and see an expert, but also see and look at what it is teaching you. Because quite often, and what I've found is that we have, in an essence, we have beings that take care of us and that guide you and that are here to assist you. And they come in many forms. They come in physical form, they come in spirit form. But be open and aware enough, at least to the possibility and to the willingness within yourself to just take a moment and acknowledge it. And then from there, move on and see what viewpoints you would like to keep on that subject. What would you say about it?
It's you've pretty much summed it up very well, and I really emphasize with people who have that they don't understand, especially the gift of. That's a hard thing to bear, because when I was little, I was able to do that too. And I remember being 10, and it was the last straw. I'd had a dream of something happening to my father, and the very next morning, the dream happened to my dad. And I remember going down on my knees. I was brought up as a Catholic, so smack bang down on my knees. And I just said, I can't do this. Please take it away from me.
Yeah, wow.
Because I couldn't speak it.
Yeah.
And it is, and we're so lucky to be living at the time, is that if your child or if you are having experiences that are out of the normal range, don't see somebody. Come speak to somebody like a medicine person that finds seeing normal and other beings and understanding that we're so afraid of those gifts.
Yeah.
And seeing that and allowing that to then and there are shadow spirits and light spirits. There is a difference, and some of them don't feel very comfortable.
Yeah, I must say that sometimes, you know, we actually need to meet in person as well to be speaking about this, Tass. But I do know that there are people experiencing this and they don't have enough knowledge because either your family, in my case, you know, I as a child experienced quite a lot, and I could see quite a lot, see the unseen by so many, and it would scare an adult that a child would have that much knowing. So I think what I'd like to do as well, if you are a mom and you're watching this and your child maybe is a bit odd to you at this point in time, is to really hold that space for that child and to find out and communicate, because it's all about communication. You know, what is it that the child's seeing? What is it that they're feeling? What is it that they're experiencing at you know, and how could you, rather as judging them or telling them it's nonsense, rather be the parent and hold the space and connect with people and experts in this world who can develop your child's senses. Because as the sensory beings that we are, there's so much available to us. And it's beautiful, Tass. I think, you know, we get born with these gifts and we have to go through this journey of being judged and struggling to find out what the path is for ourselves, because this is the planet of choice, you know, and the teaching comes in many ways. But what would basically, without me now giving advice, but what would you as an expert in your field, what advice would you give to people experiencing this, and especially to parents experiencing this with children that may have super sensing powers?
The thing is, we're individuals. Your child is an individual. And you know, it's a difficult one to answer because each person is going to be presenting with something else. But yes, don't discount what your child is saying. If that little person is really seeing fairies in the bush, it's a possibility that they are seeing energy forms. Yeah. And if they say that they're scared because tomorrow the big waves are going to hit the beach, listen to them.
Yeah.
And really start dropping work. I love to work with mothers. It's one of the things that I really want to, is bringing mothers and children into workshops where we talk about stuff like this, where we have these beautiful young children that are coming with full gifts, and the kids that are coming in now are completely different. Knowing, and the beauty of a child is that they're still connected. They know more stuff than you do.
Yes.
I mean, have you ever stared at a baby in a queue and the baby will like be really looking at you and you think to yourself, okay, who's hanging around me? From my perspective, I think to myself, what are you seeing, child? I have no clue.
Yeah.
So trust your child. Person that such an array of gifts that you as a child, you as an adult possibly had as well, and you can learn from them too.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Tass. That's amazing. Yeah. Really step into the allowance of your child as an individual human being on this planet. Yeah.
Be gentle.
Yeah.
Be gentle. Be loving. Be kind. That's all you have to do in this life.
Yeah. And
If we
again,
all
it's
could
also
do that, it would be wonderful.
exactly, and it's going back to that childlike essence. I think what that shamans also work with is to go back to that childlike essence. You know, before we grew up, before we started calling clouds different names, whatever we call it as a child. You know, as children, you look at a stick, like for instance, my sister's child, she'll look at the stick, and this stick is the magic stick. And if she doesn't have this magic stick, then everything, you know, she throws tantrums. She's like, because she firmly believes that this stick has powers, you know, and who are we to argue? Who are we to limit that imagination and that knowing of that child? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tass, to get a bit more serious, okay, what issues do people...
that stick from, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please say that. Yeah.
What issues do people?
Oh no, I wanted you to
Is that
carry,
what you're asking?
Yeah, but I also wanted you to carry on with the stick, the magic stick. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That child could have picked up a particular plant person that it is drawn to, because all the different plants have different energies. The plant people are alive, and your herbs will do particular things. Particular trees will have particular energies. So it's possible that that young child has picked up, say, an oak branch, for instance, which has got, no joke, it's me. That child knows something, because that plant might be assisting that little person, you know, because if you listen hard enough, you can hear the plants speak. I have friends that are so connected to the plants, they hear them, and it's like, oh, okay, I don't quite have that gift, but it's great that you do.
Yeah. And what would you say to people who think this is complete taboo? You know, who think, oh, these are a bunch of hippies and they're a bunch of pot smoking, whatever, and they just don't believe that. You know, what would you say to people who are completely narcissistic and pessimistic to the possibility of healers and shamans and the work that you do?
Yeah. The thing is, it's once again being loving, gentle, and kind, and respecting that person's point of view is accurate. Experience the world in the way that they're experiencing it. I can't experience the way that they do. And my experience of my world is that everything is there. It's a matter of agreeing to disagree. And also, we mustn't forget that, let's take plants, for instance, that most of our medicines were derived from plants initially. And that things that science are proving now, such as quantum physics and being able to affect your thoughts and your world around them, things that are not the shamans and the people like us that have been living in that world, is like, okay, see that one a tick.
Yeah. Yeah. So this being a women's network for South Africa, sharing information with women, vital information that I think women need to know. Tass, what are the type of issues that people have and women have that come to you asking you for your facilitation and your space and your healing contribution to their life?
It's people that come to me need connection to our Mother Earth, that they have an innate knowledge to access their own wisdom. So the ceremonies or the medicine walks that I conduct create a vessel for them to be able to work it out themselves. So I am just a facilitator creating of sacred space for them to be able to find themselves. The most overall issue or problem in inverted commas is the dance between your own light and also the between our masculine and our feminine energy. In a nutshell, is probably what people come to me mostly for. And a lot of people come to me when they do have entities that they know that is hanging around them, or they have deep grief that they need to work through. I work with that. Or they feel they need to reconnect with part of the empty, and that's when I would do a soul retrieval, for instance. It's big work. So that's about it. People mostly come to me for, and I use the vessels of medicine walks and of ceremonies. When a person books me, I never know what I'm going to do. I could possibly go on a medicine walk and a drum journey with them. You know, the actual medicine just arrives in the moment.
Yeah, it's different. It's different for each person. Tass, the type of people that you've worked with, let's talk a little about, because we still have a little time left. You were taught in America. Where did you get your teachings?
I have been a homegrown, born shaman. Stepped out of this foot of this place to learn my medicine. I've been taught by various other parts of the world, South Africa. I mean, I've been doing this seriously since I was 20. Going route, first of all, Wicca, dropping into the teachings of the Eastern people. I had a teacher for about 10 years that taught me all I needed to know about Eastern energy work, and that is, it was cord removal, extractions, which are all shamanic things anyway. And then in my 40s, I dropped straight into shamanic work, and I have had a Native American teacher, and I currently am still undergoing ministerial training with a Native American teacher.
Okay, yes. Yeah, the reason why I asked about America was because I read about that. But thank you for sharing your other teaching as well. I think it's so important for people to share the world knowledge and world teachings in their teaching. We
all have different paths, you know. I started off with an earth-based movement with Wiccanism, which was totally earth-based, and I kind of ended off with an earth-based religion. And I will be naming myself or calling myself a shaman until the day I step into my grave, I believe.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful, Tass. I hope that your journey inspires other women, local women, African women, to really step into the knowledge and their knowing on African soil, so that we don't look for answers and solutions to the other parts of the world, but that we actually channel that golden energy that we have to experience in Africa, this mother teaching that we as women have, and that they will follow and step into their knowing and follow the path that you are on in their own way. Tass,
that's right, in their own way.
Well, yes, thank you. One more thing I want to ask you. As you know, on She's Connected SA, we have something called the Take the Pledge, Ask the Question, Start the Conversation. And what it is, we're asking women who've had trauma in their lives, and specifically I'm targeting sexual trauma, to really, step up and speak about it. And at the same time, to speak about women in their lives, to find out what they've experienced. Would you say that shamanic healing is something that someone that has experienced sexual trauma can go to, that they can come to you, and that you will hold that space for them so that they can look at the experience from, what do I want to say to you now, from the bigger picture, almost taking into account everybody that was involved, everything that was involved, every choice, every action, and then how they can find a healing in a shamanic session with you?
Yes, I would be part of the healing process, but not the only person in the healing process of a sexual trauma, because you do need run-of-the-mill medicine that does run alongside taking care of the body and taking care that you're well, and that you've gone for HIV tests, and that you've done the medical intervention and even entered into psychotherapy sessions. What the shaman does do is part of that whole picture. I wouldn't want to be the only person. A community needs to hold a rape victim. A community to hold a person who's been sexually abused. And you are so right. Speak about it's not your fault. This didn't happen to you because you were naughty or you were inviting it in, the way that a lot of people actually are condemning. I want our voices to be heard. So I would be part of that, but I wouldn't be the only person.
Yeah, because what I find is, Tass, 1 out of 3 women in the world go through an experience like that, get sexually assaulted, and almost no one speaks. There's a very small amount of women who would speak about it, and sometimes it would take up to 20, 30 years before they ever open up their mouths and say something about it. So yes, like I would love to see the shamanic healing play a large contributive what is it that you actually want to say? Like there's so much, there's many paths, but is this something that if somebody didn't know where to go to, that they could come to you for this, and you could raise that voice and draw that energy and actually have them release that into the world, so that they can follow their path and follow their being and just let go of the hurt?
Often people do come to me and they don't have a memory of sexual abuse.
Yeah, that happens.
Journey. I don't like to work on my own with sexual survivors, because I believe that they need a lot more help than just me. I sometimes don't have the psychotherapy tools, for instance, that they might possibly need. So from my perspective, cover it, and I can certainly be part of the healing process, but I would never want to own something like that and say that I'm the only one that's going to be able to help you. So that does happen, they cover it. Or people do come to me. They do come to me with this, and I help them, as you so rightly say, look at it from a completely different perspective. I had a survivor from a traumatic, can I carry on talking?
Yes, you can.
From a traumatic slicing and cutting. She was actually attacked.
We seem to lose her. Let's wait a bit. Okay, we've completely lost Tass. I'm going to wait a minute to see if she comes back on, or like a moment to see if she comes back on. If she doesn't, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Let's do a follow-up interview. So for those who will be watching and that's interested to see what she says, kindly visit the channel again and see what else is possible, and to see if we did a follow-up with her. Let's wait a little bitty. Here she is. Hi, Tass. So we can't hear you. I don't think it's picking it up yet. No, no sound. So I think, thank you so much for those that are watching. Tass, thank you so much for joining us. I know that you can hear me. I'd very much like to speak to you again soon and maybe do a follow-up interview with you to see what else is possible for people who are looking to go and visit and experience the healing through shamanistic practices. And also in South Africa, you know, women that are looking to open up to their own the healing possibility. Tass, thank you so much. I'm just going to do a gesture. I know that I'll be connecting with you again soon. You're such a beautiful being. For everybody else that's watching, live your divine life. Do what you have to do to heal and evolve and live this gorgeous life you have. Have an incredible day. That's me for now saying goodbye. Bye-bye.